Sneak through the door, man. Can't make it. Out of my way, son! Door's stuck! Door's stuck! Please! I beg you!
Sponsored by War Thunder. See us at MomoCon 2025.
It's a new day, but it all feels old. It's a good life, that's what I'm told.
I used to hold a Jackie Chan action figure over a lit candle to watch the head melt. Before touchscreen phones were in everyone's pockets, the Nintendo DS made touchscreens a pillar of gaming in 2004. We've gotten used to it, but many forgot how futuristic this first felt. With its interactive screen and weirdly sexual marketing, the DS became the second best-selling console of all time. So get ready for a road trip and jam all those carts into one game case.
Damn it!
Because we got strange, colorful, classic, or obscure DS games to cover. It's Juice and Jam time.
A new opponent is ready to face you.
Win one foot and you might as well face it. You wanna have fun and we wanna get wasted.
A 2-liter bottle of Shasta and my all-Russian mixtape. Let's rock.
When we had that dominant nobody gonna take my car, gonna race it to the ground. Nobody gonna beat my car, gonna break the beat of sound.
While driving in Chicago will leave you questioning the existence of God and human decency, that same kind of driving is what you want out of SideSwipped, a mission-based driving game. You got racing stages, standard, but also these destruction missions that'll tweak the gravity, leading to more airborne crashes than Pearl Harbor. An absolute clustered truck of physics I had no idea the DS was even capable of. Missions that involve running down other drivers, demolition derbies, or bashing through traffic cones. You play through the campaign, which will involve similar missions in the same locations over and over. Slowly you unlock a small list of cars, upgrades, and color swaps. Although in the main menu you can hit the randomizer that'll throw you into any challenge and vehicle, even if it isn't unlocked. There's also online Wi-Fi for scoreboards, local multiplayer only. Many comments I found even claim that this was a better Burnout game than the actual DS Burnout. Is that accurate? Oh, I see. It feels like a bunch of tin cans sliding on the road.
Pick that car, everything.
Now, let me remind you, if all this stimulus is overloading you, the normal race modes are toned down greatly, but honestly, with all these flat-out style physics and minigames, who wants that? Just recording extra footage for this has been an utter joy. Really, SideSwipe's only crime besides vehicular manslaughter is just not having enough content. Yet both those sins are forgivable to me and my girl Caitlin. Definitely try this game out if you want utter chaos behind the wheel. Good thing on eBay it only goes for...
Two mechanical giants are locked in fierce battle. It's incredible! Could this be the coming of the Armageddon?
From Earth Defense Force to Robot Alchemic Drive, love that game. Sandlot Studio really loved their citywide destruction, but to fit that on a DS is impressive. Super Control Mecha MG. Here's a Japan-only title with a fan translation. So you played simulators for airplanes, cars, goats, but here's what I would describe as a doohickey simulator. With missions that involve racing, fighting, delivery, or city destruction, there's over 100 mechas to choose from with all sorts of ways to pilot them. Spin gears to swing a sword, drag and drop ammunition into a gun barrel, flip the switch to transform. You got construction bots transforming race cars, giant animals, swordsmen, gunsmen, ninjas, tugboats, a windmill. Does Gundam have a windmill mecha? I don't think so, but I'm not gonna look it up to see if it does.
Oh my goodness!
Your mechas can wear down over time and need rest for a bit, so don't rely too much on just one. With the variety, I can't complain. Every bot is so intentionally jank, you're just thrown into a mission as you figure it out on the fly. Tipping over an enemy really puts a smile on my face. I love being in vehicle mode, driving towards the enemy, getting shot at, exploded, I'm on fire, flying in the air. While airborne, I flip the lever and transform into battle mode, landing on my feet. Like Virtual On or Robot Alchemic Drive, the more obtuse the controls are, the more authentic it feels. It appeals to your monkey brain of wondering, what does this button do? Some of these got their ultimate attack, but to activate it, you have to tap a plate to uncover the button. This will physically pull in the big red button. You press that as your mecha charges up their special, which takes forever. Oh no, they're coming, please. Please, no, please, come on. Yes! Yes! Why did this not come to America? To explain Super Control Mecha MG's world, it takes place in a reality where bots are called marionation gear or puppets. They've existed in old-timey eras, more wood and steam-powered. Some of these you gotta wind up like a toy for them to function. Because child labor laws don't exist in mecha animes, you play as a kid. First time we see him, he's entering his puppet from this camera angle the cutscene shows. He's gotta get into the cockpit. After he rewinds childbirth, you do odd jobs for cash, moving rocks or leveling city blocks, but soon some rogue marionettes invade. While the constant dialogue I was skimming through, it started to feel more engaging as the puppet war reached their hometown. I got kinda invested when you and an AI partner had to fight side by side, which you may expect it to look like this. But it's more like a bunch of washing machines walking on a tightrope. There's a ton of bios and lore dumps about this vintage world, though if you want to skip all that, the map is this disorganized overworld. The next mission will often show up in some random area you gotta skim for. Just look for the red icon to progress. If you want to find a past mission you like, it's somewhere. Some of these blocks aren't even missions, just story text. It's terrible. Super Control Mecha MG gave me the joy of being a kid with a bunch of new RC cars for Christmas. I do not understand why this Nintendo published game was Japan only. Poor sales over there supposedly? Maybe trim down the dialogue in the bloated story mode. At least there's a tie-in manga and some trophies for Smash Bros. Brawl. Brawl? They only got into Brawl? Not good enough for Smash Wii U? Get outta here! But first, this video is sponsored by War Thunder. Free for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and now mobile devices. It's optimized to run well on everything. With over 2,500 tanks, helicopters, ships, planes, eras from the 1920s fighter jets or modern tanks, you got realistic and simulation battles, but I much prefer the arcade mode, faster pace matches, and simplified physics. And it's not just basic hitboxes. Depending where you hit, deals different amounts of damage. War Thunder takes you to a world in war over thunder, no less. Vehicles full of authentic sound effects, gorgeous 3D models with customizable skins and decorations. Go realistic or neon lit. Using my link pinned in the comments and description to play for free, new and returning players who haven't played in 6 months on PC and console get a massive bonus pack, premium vehicles, and decorator booster packs, and more. 100,000 Silver Lions. Join a PvP game with over 70 million worldwide players. Again, use my link in the description or pinned comment. War Thunder. Unsolicited PacPix. Guys, dick pics are impressive to no one. Send the girl PacPix on DS and she'll be watching that crappy movie you like with you. Hey, any of y'all remember PDAs? Personal Digital Assistants? There was an Aqua Teen episode on it. In the 90s, they were basically the precursor to smartphones without the phone part. Something only business people owned to plan their day, write ransom letters, or send emails. In 2001, games director Tetsuya Shinoda was fascinated by the touchscreen interface, so he prototyped a Pac-Man game and pitched it around, only to hit the same roadblocks. PDA gaming on a touchscreen just wasn't a strong market, and the overlap of gamers with, people with jobs wasn't all that big.
People usually get a PDA when they have a job, and friends, and a life.
PDA gaming and touchscreens weren't that big of a market, so they dropped it until 3 years after, where we got the DS. It was the perfect time to dust off that old idea. At E3 2004, PacPix was even featured as a tech demo. Many industry people were impressed by the game being able to recognize and animate doodles of Pac-Man. To this day, it's still impressive. My teachers could not read my penmanship, but the DS could tell you drew Pac-Man. As cool as PacPix is, it barely goes beyond its demo. The game is just doodling Pac-Man. Big packs are slow, small packs are fast, and you eat the ghosts. You have other abilities like bombs or shooting arrows to ghosts, assuming the damn arrows register. Yeah, it's good, but not like $30 on launch good. Sure, I can recognize your doodle of Pac-Man, but I can do that. Wait, you want me to come over and do it? You live in Chicago or McAllen? With a 4-hour campaign, every stage looks the same, and this feels like the mini-games within a bigger game. Congrats on saving your idea for later. I'd say it was worthless, but you charged $30 for it.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please be nice to our game? I'm sure the people at Oh, that wasn't so bad.
No! We'll be back with more DS games after this.
Show me on the DS how WarioWare touched you emotionally. Minigames? No sir. Here's a microgame collection where you got 5 seconds to complete a task. Taking cues from Al-Qaeda, you finish off one microgame, 10 more shall take its place.
Okay. Love me?
As usual, you select a playlist of challenges organized by character and their theme. Games themed around sports, nature, or food. That's how they were organized in the first entry. But this time the themes are less cosmetic and more about the touchscreen's uses. Wario's games involve tapping, Mona's about cutting, and Ashley is about drag. My specialty.
Yeah, bitch, work.
Not a hot take here, but cinematography has stagnated. DS and TikTok is the new frontier with tall screens. Maybe distracting, but using a vertical screen to tell a story is a whole new world of possibilities. I can imagine some indie animator using WarioWare's pixel style as a format for their online animations. This is what the Quibi app fought for, and we let it down. It may have crashed and burned, but I know one day it shall gain redemption. If not, does anyone want to buy a phone with Quibi still installed? As tradition, the retro gamer icon 9Volt has his Nintendo propaganda games, references from the Game & Watch to even the traditional toys Nintendo used to make. Hey, you got any Sega games? Whoa, we'll play Nintendo, 9Volt is usually seen gaming with his best friend, 18Volt, who's like a full-ass adult. The mom's aware of this and is fine with it. Okay, maybe it's some sort of mice and men type of relationship?
My name is Mike, come on, let's roll karaoke.
Oh, and remember how the DS also had a microphone? Well, newcomer Mike the robot uses the mic for his minigames. Judging by the name, his whole existence came to be just to promote the DS mic. What a way to be born.
Oh my god.
Imagine finding out your destiny from birth was to promote the DK bongos. That's what I learned about myself last week, and I've done a poor job doing so. My family will soon be sending the Coca-Cola death squads to my location. Abort all fetuses. As a jumping off point in my research, I'll skim through Wikipedia for any odd sources, which led me to what is apparently WarioWare Touch's legacy. This paragraph seems normal, but it briefly mentions the micro games were done in later titles, and the rest is all about the first appearance of Ashley, the evil witch girl. Touch also marks the first appearance of the reoccurring WarioWare character Ashley, who has since appeared in WarioWare Smooth Moves, WarioWare DIY, Game & Wario, and WarioWare Gold. Ashley has made regular appearances in the Super Smash Bros. Series. You know, there's other characters introduced, right, that don't get a massive paragraph for some reason. Let's just take that Ashley girl and put her in this region here, okay? WarioWare's overall gameplay can sound too niche. It's the kind of strange title that would never leave Japan, yet the Eastern developers knew they had something when demoing the game at an expo. After noticing an American player laughing at the nose-picking challenge in the first WarioWare, the team knew this game and its humor had no boundaries. With so many micro games to make, the crew were split into partners, one programmer and one designer. Both produced 2 minigames per week. Ideas were doodled on scrap paper or a storyboard sheet to plan out the minigames like an interactive animation. Many ideas were rejected for feeling too similar. In the end, 190 games were completed, not including the bonus trinkets you can fool around with. Like a basic multiplayer ping pong game that only requires 1 DS, a precursor to Doodle Jump, a music video that unlocks if you have the spin-off WarioWare Twisted in the handheld's GBA slot, and most infamous was the record player. It does what you expect.
She can rule the world and she'll finish all her homework. Everyone knows that I'm the greatest. Ashley.
Although, if you manually spin the record yourself, you'll get this message. I remember internet forum dwellers back then were sharing that around. Nintendo Power magazine claimed that they got a ton of messages about it and brushed it off as some jumbled lyrics, which it is. Though, seeing how stupid people are online, I'm just waiting for the nutjobs of today calling Nintendo satanic or whatever. After all, this game features weapons of mass karaoke. WarioWare touched me emotionally. What more needs to be said? My first game in the series, as my attention span has corroded to this day. I struggle to sit through a 90-minute movie now. Doctors consider me a lost cause. Statistically speaking, there likely exists one person in the world whose favorite game is Donkey Kong, the King of Swing. As frightening as that is, it'd be ignorant to ignore that reality. Well, this next game goes out to that one proud DK swinger, Go Cosmocops, a Japanese game that has no Japanese or US release. For some reason, only Europe got this. Scouring the net, almost no info exists as to why. It's pretty fun. After crash landing on Earth, this yellow killer bean OC trusts some kids to save the world by climbing stuff. Anybody who can reach a high shelf already is a hero. Here, you just gotta make it to the exit. Tapping will grapple hook you to the next handlebar, but you can also slingshot your way to the top. Being able to skip over obstacles really shows the fun in this concept, but what holds it back is it's just too easy and too short. They come up with a variety of vehicles and special techniques, yet there's so few stages that use them. It feels like the deadline was coming up and they just finished what little was done, leading to a 4-hour campaign. There's some fascinating bosses, some of which will take the 2D mechanics and seamlessly convert them to 3D, but quickly beating them in a few hits is a letdown.
Good job, Laryngitis rocks!
Cosmocops is developed by the custom robo studio Noise and published by Pac-Man creators Namco, which is why you'll often see the S flag appear as a collectible. It's been in anything from Smash Brothers, Xevious, Star Fox Assault, and originating in Rally X. It was just a collectible for extra points, yet it became the official flag of Bandai Namco. One they wave so proudly, yet I can't support a company who thought releasing PacPix was a good idea. This is yet another flag I pledge no allegiance to, as Go Cosmocops does little to change my creed. Guess it's true what they say, there's only one king of swing, baby.
Good job!
According to our Next Subject's official YouTube channel, the development of the GameCube's Kirby Air Ride was so long and messy that it just burnt out its director, Masahiro Sakurai, a man whose suffering will never end. Put in score. After leaving the studio, HAL Laboratory, Sakurai went on to supervise various games that don't even have his name, Sakurai, in the credits. He did not want to upstage the developers who put in all the effort, so all those Sakurai-blessed games are a mystery. I hope one day we can figure out what games those were out of spite. The exhausted Smash director moved from game to game until a major Sega figure talked with him, Tetsuya Mizuguchi, a producer of Space Channel 5 and Rez. He asked Masahiro to pitch a puzzle game. This was a genre Sakurai was never good at, yet he committed to learning the principles of. The concept of outsider art is something he wishes for more of in an industry of redundant titles. With so many block puzzlers on the market, the suffering developers' outside thinking led to something more unique. Meteos. Oh yeah, you know you're playing one of Masahiro's games when the menus look like this. 3 stock, no items, planet Gel only. Out in the desolate realm of space, the planet Meteos decides to hell with y'all. Here's some garbage for every other planet. Colonies across the galaxy are swarmed by falling blocks, crushing them until they notice something. Line up 3 or more of the same color and they'll go back from whence they came. If that happened in real life, Weezer would have hit the stratosphere. I like that the rocks look like a bunch of sugary cereal pieces.
Burning my pepper! Heading for the cinnamon bakery!
That was the last Flintstones episode.
Hey Fred, don't you just love these Japanese games?
All I'll say is 2 balders weren't enough, Barn. Planets all over the system unite to take down Meteos. All that to explain a match 3 block game. Except instead of vanishing, the blocks propel upwards. Though similar to a North Korean missile launch, gravity can hold the blocks down, so you got a match 3 on top of the match 3 you already did. Launch these bastards to some other planet, it's their garbage now. You can use the DS buttons to play, but the game is so fast and frantic that the touchscreen is mandatory. Sakurai noticed having a tall stack of blocks in a puzzle game is usually a big risk, but in Meteos, that makes a greater weapon, but it also makes a heavier set of blocks to launch. It's a great balance. With the planetary themes, every colony you fight against has their own style of bricks, music, gravity, and alien species. There's aliens that resemble the fairies from Zelda to a single-cell Bart Simpson. Some blocks are easy on the eyes, while others are... Oh jeez, get me off this planet, I hate this place, blow it all to hell! Among Sakurai's regrets besides working on Smash Brothers is the limited development time. Last minute tweaking caused the game to be far more difficult than he intended. There's times where the gravity increases to be near impenetrable. But that didn't stop Meteos from being a bestseller. While published by Bandai in Japan, Nintendo of America believed in it for the US release. Good game, Sakurai moved on, yet the Meteos franchise continued without his knowledge. Ports to the Xbox 360, mobile phones, online browsers, many of these are now lost media. I wish they weren't because I love how gummy these icons for the Korean smartphone port are. Though thanks to physical media, I am sad to report the Disney-fied Meteos Disney Magic is still playable. No thank you. I've killed more Disney adults in 1 week than most people do in a month. R.I.P. Oh cool, the credit screen, and it shows each developer's autograph. If you ever wanted to forge someone's signature, now's your chance.
Hey Fred, what are your thoughts on Isarok versus Palestone?
Medical malpractice is so awesome when it's not happening to me specifically, but only a few games let you simulate the joys of going under the knife. Dr. Mario taught me to keep shoving pills down your throat to make the bad stuff go away, while Simpson's colonoscopy party will have you travel to Seattle to actually play it. Yet our next subject is for the DS. Getting the handheld around my 13th birthday, there were a ton of games to look forward to, but I had this lingering thought. Many early titles either didn't really need touch controls or needed them for gimmicky minigames. As with Hannah Montana or Infidelity, I need the best of both worlds, and one of the games to make me say, yeah, that's what the DS is made for was Trauma Center Under the Knife. A game that could only be done with touch controls. This is a sort of amateur surgeon simulator. Slice open people and rip the shards of glass, tumors, or weird growths that'll go away if I ignore it, right? This counts as a hack and slash.
Oh, my ovaries.
So, I just noticed this was developed by Atlas. While Shin Megami herself never worked on it, Trauma does feature many artists, programmers, and composers from her Persona games. You get the big soap opera story with supernatural elements and graphics that are just unrealistic enough to not gross me out, almost like a CG medical instructional video.
Your doctor has recommended that you undergo surgery to remove a bunion. But what does that actually mean?
Booting up the game, it warns you that these medical techniques are not realistic, though it seems believable enough. You got scalpels, syringes, stitches, a pentagram that'll slow down the passage of time. It's a power blessed only to those who descended from Asclepius, great god of medicine. The power is called the Healing Touch and can be used to extract the guilt, a human-made virus created by the medical terrorist organization Delphi, who believe medicine interferes with natural selection and humanity should have ended centuries ago. Doctor, I just want to know if I can eat spicy chips again. It's unclear if this is medically accurate, but watching the streamers save data play this with an actual nurse on hand, I don't think he was impressed.
You have this green fluid. You just inject, and their vitals go up.
Yeah.
If the
vital go up.
If vital go down, they die.
Beyond the lore, Trauma Center is a medical drama of a beginner surgeon cutting for the very first time. It'll teach you the methods, which will often repeat and feel samey. Though there's many wild scenarios like doing surgery on an airplane while the turbulence will interfere. Or using your medical science degree to disarm a bomb? Oh god, we're not gonna make it. Quick, use the Healing Touch. Activate the pentagram.
This is the least scientific thing I've ever seen.
You be quiet.
When localizing this game, a translation editor claims not much was changed, though they pulled some minor 4Kids style edits. Like instead of Japan, they're in California a lot. Like, yeah, sure, this is California. Maybe it's Asia Town, like Italian Town or New Zealand Town. Even the title was changed. Trauma Center. What was wrong with Super Surgical Operations Caduceus? Okay, yeah, you can change that. They also renamed the main surgeon Kosuke Tsukamori. Now he's Derek Styles, a pun off the DS stylus pen. Oh, in the sequel for the Nintendo Wii, there's Naomi Kimishima, who in America became Nozomi Weaver, as in the Wii. Yes, pun is intended. Even many of the patients you save are references to actors and characters from medical shows like House, ER, or Scrubs. As for story changes, I don't know if anything was altered, though I guess to make it less tragic, this one suicidal patient was aged up from 14 to 17. Thankfully, she shows up in the sequels that take place years later, though she's 17 there also. She was 17 in the Japanese sequel, so I guess the US team did not remain consistent with their edits. With this girl's suffering, you save her life even if she feels it was all pointless. They could have spent time helping someone else. Derek Styles tries to reassure her, though his nurse butts in with,
Well, then maybe you should just die. There are patients here who have to fight just to breathe properly. Every day, someone dies after a long and futile struggle to live. I'm sorry. We saved you. Go end your life for all I care.
damn, bitch, just take the insurance money and hush. Sheesh.
Your doctor has recommended that you undergo surgery to remove a bunion. But what does that actually mean?
Accuracy and speed will constantly be tested. The later games had a difficulty slider, but for this debut title, nah, I could never beat Trauma Center as a kid. Difficult, but I never regretted buying such a unique title. While you think this anime-looking game would be a hit in Japan, Trauma Center did not sell there. Supposedly less than 15,000 units were sold in the East. The overall year was terrible for Atlus's Japanese division as they had to lay off 10% of the workforce due to the poor local sales. The game was looking to be another blow to the company.
Vitals are critical. We're running out of time.
On the contrary, in America and Europe, Trauma Center and other Atlus games were really hitting strong. According to the gaming news site Gamma Sutra, an Atlus representative reported sales outside Japan were up 75%, while the previous year was already up 45%. Titles like Magna Carta and Riviera the Promised Land, which I've been enjoying the Switch port of, really helped Atlus expand westward. The representative mainly singled out Trauma as one of their best sellers with, quote, going off the charts from their expectations. Damn, it was probably the perfect time for Trauma Center, a simple to understand concept that hasn't been done before on a new system. Plus, Westerners were discovering anime at this time, and there were a ton of medical dramas on TV. So many journalists like EGM praised Trauma Center, though they complained that the female patients had no nipples. Sorry, Dr. Pervert. The female patient being an underage girl wanting to commit suicide. Hey, buddy, go back to the Silent Hill fandom. Trauma Center spawned multiple sequels, a Wii remake, and inspired Adult Swim to create a whole parody franchise called Amateur Surgeon. Oh, and there was a leaked live-action Trauma Center TV show that had nothing to do with the games, just a random medical show Atlus gave the name to.
Stop talking, right? I have to scrub up in 5 minutes.
I'm gonna need a Trauma Center after that. Unfortunately, the franchise flatlined after 2010. The games were kinda criticized for being repetitive, and much of the team moved on to the Persona franchise. Plus, it's not a game that really works unless you got touch or motion controls. Sure, you can use an iPhone or Switch, but without a stylus, your fingers are not very precise for this type of game. With Atlus and Persona as popular as ever, Trauma Center I could see coming back once they figure out the right control scheme. It could happen. If not, maybe they could re-release the House MD game instead. Yes, that's a real screenshot.
Nice work, Dr. Styles.
We'll be back with more DS games after this.
Fox tonight. Can House save a woman who's mysteriously dying? Then a beauty pageant hides a dark secret on Lie to Me. Fox Monday starts right now.
1995, Nintendo and Square Enix collabed to create Super Mario RPG, a beloved title I never played but has that vaguely recognizable puppet and cloud guy. I was a Superstar Saga Paper Mario boy growing up. Fans have demanded a proper RPG sequel for decades, or at least the return of those two guys. Well, over 1 decade later in 2006, Nintendo and Square reunited to give us something real special. Mario Hoops 3-on-3, DNP that RPG, it's b-ball with Mario Kart. Being raised in the streets of Brooklyn, it's no surprise Mario is breaking ankles, balling trios, and dodging Magic Johnson's needles. Developed by Square, Hoops lets you ball with the Mushroom Kingdom citizens and some Final Fantasy icons. Beloved characters like Cloud? No. Reintroducing Ninja, Swastika Cactus, Wizard, that thing I remember from Kingdom Hearts, and White Mage. Oh my god. Is this peak character design? Taking these sprites and making pure gold. Illustrations are by Jen Kobayashi. This Enix artist has drawn For the World Ends With You and Musashi Samurai Legend. He adds a subtle attitude to the typical Mario art style. Check this plumber. Basketball in one hand, backhand on the other. He's got a bit of Gangsta Mickey t-shirt in him. As for me, I'm an and1 street ball kind of shirt guy. Like the font says, I don't need a microphone, my games speak for itself. Gorgeous designs and the menu very similar to WarioWare touches. The game is styling as the gameplay may be tougher to grasp. While not as accessible as Mario Kart, don't let the lengthy tutorial scare you away. You only need to tap the screen to throw or dribble an item block tile. The faster the tap, the more coins you get. Coins will amplify how much points you get per dunk. Directly going for the hoop is not ideal. You want a big score, you gotta risk it all by dribbling in place. Remember, you can't have your ball stolen if you're facing away from the opponent. That's why I never look back, even when I reverse out of my driveway. Besides more manslaughter charges, you gotta worry about item boxes and stage gimmicks, like a slot machine that might increase your score, or the underwater court which sucks ass cause everything's in slow motion. You can even choose your ball design. We got the Deadpool, Pepsi Man, and a live Goomba or Blooper if you enjoy torturing animals. Just rapidly dribble that poor creature, it's legal in this state, morality be damned. I like to free throw them at the garden stage where the hoop is replaced with a piranha plant. It's the circle of life, kids, it's natural, it's fine, this is totally normal. Help me, please. While the worst of human nature is on full display, Mario Hoops became so much easier with, whoa, optional button controls in the menu. Yes, please. Yeah, I don't think touch controls really add much to this game. Though you'll still need touch controls for your super dunks you must memorize the touch combo of. If you can't do a super dunk, I'm sure Purdue University is still enrolling. Commitment. Marriage is not the worst thing to commit to when there's Sudoku. Whoa, put down the Japanese sword, I'm talking about puzzle games. One that seems like it'd be an ancient Japanese custom, but really was made in America in the 70s. Though it wasn't until the mid-2000s when big newspapers started publishing Sudokus, which sparked its global popularity.
Then maybe you should die!
Even gaming was flooded with title after title after title, but to stand out from the crowd, there was Zendoku. Imagine Sudoku mixed with Capcom's Puzzle Fighter and a tiny bit of WarioWare's minigames. Y'all know how to play Sudoku, right? Don't worry, if I know how to play it, it's easier to understand than most social cues. So Zendoku replaces numbers with symbols as you aim to solve the puzzle faster than the enemy. Match a row or section and your opponent's health bar will go down as they'll be hit by a distracting minigame. Blowing away candles, punching out tiles, or pushing away objects. It's annoying, but that's the point. That's why you watch these videos. Zendoku was also on PSP, which I'll use more footage of since it fits the video resolution better. This vid would have released a year earlier if DS games were easier to record. Anywho, the minigames. DS touch controls made things common sense. Tap, slice, or drag. With the PSP's regular buttons, they don't tell you what buttons to press, and the controls feel so wooden and unresponsive. Some of them I'm wondering, is this supposed to drag on for so long? I got this unrolling thing and it just goes on and on and on. Like, this can't be normal, right? This has to be like a version of the game made to mess with pirated copies. Maybe? Oh my god. Stick to the DS port. It's still annoying, but it's more straightforward with the controls. Either way, you'll still get a roster of martial artists, sumos, cowboys, oh, and like a true fighting game, a Bruce Lee knockoff. The main feature of Zendoku is the quest mode. Depending on your character and the opponent, you'll get personalized dialogue. This game has more character interactions than 90% of fighting games. I am fucking envious. And with the snarky script, it's surprisingly funny a few times. But if all that's annoying, there's the typical Sudoku included. Let me read this. I face 200 years of dishonor for losing.
Which means I'll get 200 years of feeling pretty good.
Well, false alarm. It turns out besides the intro, they recycled dialogue for all the characters. Different fighters state the same thing. Like, come on, all you had to do was write a text file. Was this supposed to impress me?
Is that a Fatal Fury reference?
Zendoku is kind of a cool take on Puzzle Fighter. The DS minigames don't drag on as much, and this would be so fun to piss people off in multiplayer. Like, you think you figured out what piece to go where, and damn it.
We'll be back with more DS games after this.
The following entertainment experience has been designated cult. The content of this feature has been known to cause obsessive behavior and, in some cases, personality shifts.
Creating the cult favorite Gitaro Man as well as other rhythm games, the Innis Corporation were loved among a small audience. Too bad great games don't always translate to great sales. Infinite Noise of the Inner Soul. That's what Innis stood for. A company founded by a man, his wife, and her brother. As they struggled to get anything sold to a publisher, their idea for a platformer with music that syncs up to your movement like a Tom and Jerry cartoon was despised by companies like Nintendo. They went 2 years without selling a pitch.
Gitaro Man sold like nothing. Any confidence that we had built was completely crushed like a fly. At this point, we had kind of lost all confidence in the music genre. We really did a lot of soul searching back then. I was having some very nice conversations with our CEO about samurai swords and how warm cardboard can be.
That's how the co-founder and creator of Gitaro Man, Kiichi Yano, felt. In this unsure time, the team sought inspiration from Owendon performers. Basically, Japanese male cheerleaders who hype up the crowd and continue to fight on, no matter the score. All it takes is one hit idea to really change things around. So, the crew thought about a motion-controlled game where you have two fan controller peripherals waving to the music. Yet again, another rejection. Though seeing the then upcoming Nintendo DS, the touchscreen sparked an idea without the need for a separate peripheral. That's how we got Osu Tatakai Owenden. Developed by Innis and published by Nintendo themselves, you tap the buttons to the rhythm as you cheer on someone in need. A wacky game with Japanese licensed music that no way would this release internationally. Then again, this game managed to gain a bit of traction from importers. Probably helped one of the songs was Ready Steady Go, which was also the Full Metal Alchemist theme. Outside the cutscenes, you don't need to know the same language to enjoy the rhythm. Maybe there was potential in going global. While Nintendo of Japan didn't bother, the American division stepped up.
It's my job, it's Nintendo's job to make sure we satisfy all the gamers and to do it better than our competition.
They're not just gonna port it, they're gonna make a totally new game, new soundtrack, new stories and characters for the US with the same crew. To appeal to Americans, Owendon became the Disco Rangers, and they were gonna be inspired by the Village People. Well, another name spitballed was the Supersonic Agents. Let's tweak it a bit. Okay, taking cues from Men in Black, Blues Brothers, and Austin Powers, we got the Elite Beat Agents.
Agents are go!
Much thanks to Liam Robertson of Did You Know Gaming for interviewing the developers and archiving interviews. In contrast to the hot-blooded Japanese cheerleaders Owen Don presented, the EBA were cool, hip operatives on a mission. Kinda fun this spin-off took the opposite approach. Reminds me of Totally Spies. Somehow, all this secret agent dancing stuff made more sense to Americans than cheerleaders being men. That says so much about our society, and yet we live in one. If you ever need emotional support for painting your masterpiece, stopping a giant monster, or altering the weather, the elite beat agents will be by your side, dancing. Just shout, help. Trapped on an island? Will they give you a ride? Nah, they just came in to watch you escape on your own. All you gotta do is shout, help. Guys, I'm testifying against former President Bill Clinton. There are people that are gonna murder me. Help!
Oh no, I can't find my keys.
The agents are go!
The agents are what?
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1,
Every song is given story context. Depending how well you do, there are win and lose animations for so many cutscenes. Like for this one scene, a microscopic nurse succeeds at fighting a virus. Though if you do poorly in this Nintendo-published game for ages 10 and up... Damn, son, I am going and gone! As for America's EBA, the track lists are all pretty good covers, though very compressed. It's the perfect balance of then modern 2000s music like Avril Lavigne, Ashley Simpson, Good Charlotte, but also classics from Cher, David Bowie, Jackson 5, or Queen. Even the Village People, the very influence for the American remake, are here. Due to license issues, some songs were swapped out. They had to remove Ricky Martin's Livin' La Vida Loca and a Guns N' Roses track. Not sure which Roses song, maybe Welcome to the Jungle. Either way, this playlist has variety.
Everywhere I go, you're always on my mind, in my heart, in my soul, baby. You're the beat in my life, you're the inspiration.
The manga panel stories are so damn over the top, corny, and just hit right. Like for the Christmas level featuring Chicago's You're the Inspiration. It's just a mother and daughter who want to see their dead father one more time, and somehow the EBA make it happen. This right here is in my top 10, top 5 saddest moments in gaming. There's so many rhythm games in the world, but I always prefer your story-based titles that give context to the music. I don't know why, but I can't resist. I'm recording this multiple times over, and I can't resist tearing up talking about this stage. If Dance Dance Revolution is a now that's what I call music CD, Elite Beat Agents is a whole damn musical. EBA is a comedic game, but even the crew admitted getting choked up at a different scene. It was for the Good Charlotte level. A fictional all-star baseball player, Hulk the King Bryman, has a few terrible seasons. After retiring early, a fan recognizes him at his new job of picking up trash at a theme park.
And then some kid recognizes him, oh hey, aren't you so-and-so? And you just see... And you see the baseball player just pull his hat down. It's nah, you got the wrong guy, kid. And I was unprepared for it because I was thinking oh, I'm gonna get ready to just do some work soon. Just let's see what's in there. And this moment just kind of kicked me. All the game dev that I've done since then, I want to have that moment again where I am so into what I'm making that it literally brought tears to my eyes. And this was sort of the experience for the whole game where everyone really, really cared about it.
Maybe that's how it feels to run a beloved game studio, have passionate fans yet struggle to get by. This game was funded by Nintendo, but who knows if the next one will be, and who knows where that money's gonna come from.
You bet, kid.
As Hulk Bryman continues the daily grind, that's when a giant volcano monster attacks. Hulk reignites his baseball abilities and does what he can to save the kids. If a giant volcano monster seems confusing out of context, don't worry, it makes no sense within the story, as the whole game only keeps escalating. Upon reaching the final 2 stages, EBA solidifies itself as the Gurren Lagann of rhythm games, IMO.
From now on, all music is forbidden.
Watching over the Earth, the aliens have had enough of the music and human spirit. They imprison the world while we reunite with everyone from the previous levels. No music and no entertainment, but by this point, they know what to do. Even if it is futile. Then and there where I learned to leave fear in a hot car as the entire world all united in dance. You don't need to know the same language to enjoy the rhythm as music destroyed the alien invaders. Releasing the infinite noise of the inner soul, Elite Beat Agents gave me some of the most hyped moments I ever felt in media ever, transmitted from a small handheld screen. With 2 Japanese games and 1 American, EBA and Oendon just sold okay. Maybe the TV commercials made things look too easy, or the DS had stiff competition with rhythm games. But EBA was expected to sell 300,000 copies in the first month. In reality, it barely broke past a third of that. Innes and its crew continued to make other rhythm titles as fans created Osu, or Os, a fan game letting users add their own music. EBA's crew felt it's fine, but they joked how they can't endorse someone copying a Nintendo IP. Agents and Oendon were never bestsellers, but for those who played it, it probably left a bigger emotional impact than most mainstream hits. At least for me it did. Fuck y'all.
Don't give up. Challenge again.
Wow! Touch! Nintendo DS!
Touch and play over 180 quick-fire microgames. Wario Air Touched. For Nintendo DS. Rated everyone.
I was frozen today!
Thanks again to War Thunder, my sponsor, for making this vid possible. Free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile. Remember, new and returning players who've been gone for 6 months on PC and console receive a massive bonus pack of premium vehicles. 100,000 Silver Lions. 7 days of premium accounts. War Thunder.